Welcome back. If you were with us a few minutes ago, we had some technical difficulties or connection issues, but we are back on air now for the final moments of qualifying, and it's Nico Busov who's still leading the way with Will Freeman in second place, with Ed Sterling, Mauro Begantin on the second row of the grid. Sean Cull, who went into this round third in the championship, is sitting in ninth place ahead of Fernando Ferreira. And looking further down the order, we've got 29 drivers in the server as we speak, which is looking like the numbers we're going to have for today's race, which should be an exciting one. Busov is very much firm favourite to take this one, but qualifying is one thing, the race is quite another. So we are into the last 30 seconds then. Who's going to take pole here at Oulton Park? No points are on offer in qualifying in Taco Tuesday, but the higher up you want to be on the grid, the better. There's Dennis Novak, who thought he had won the race in Snetterton, only for that to be taken away from him for cutting the chicane at Nelson Corner. That gave him a 5-second time penalty, and that dropped into second. Busov took the win retrospectively. Well, the checker flag is out now, so the drivers are about to complete their final laps, although Freeman is almost looking like he's getting held up there as he rides the curb on the exit of Druids. In towards Lodge, through Dearly, and this will be the last lap time he's going to be posting. And the car ahead of him staying out of the way, but Freeman has decided to head for the pit lane, probably doing some pit stop practice, I would have thought. So it's all down to Nico Busov then. He may not even bother finishing off this lap because he feels that he may have done enough to take pole position. Matthias Giggle is up to 5th now in the Lamborghini. And Busov is coming into the pit lane, probably doing some pit stop practice. I went through it maybe a little bit too quickly, but it's all part of the game when it comes to racing here in the FRL. And unless we see any improvements from Dennis Novak and co, I think that will be that for qualifying. They head over the line now. Ed Sterling is currently 3rd on the grid, and there is Dennis Novak heading for the pit lane. One more car out on circuit, that is the 911, but qualifying is over and Busov has done enough to take pole position here at Oulton Park. Will Freeman, his championship rival, will line up alongside him, with Ed Sterling continuing his good form from last week in 3rd position. Geoffrey Godefroy 4th, ahead of Matthias Giggle and Mauro Begantin, who will be on row 3, ahead of Matteo Di Stefano and Lee Prentice. Peter van Lyshow, a good qualifying again from him in 9th, ahead of Sean Cull. Fernando Ferreira and Dennis Novak are on row 6, followed by Ben Milden and Connor Byers. Mauro Arsenio and Arkadiusz Mahelka are on row 8, ahead of Morgan Grace and Michael Kleiboer. Matthias Dybel and Jack Prentice making up the top 20, well, running out the top 20 I should say. Chris Faster and Stuart Hutchinson are 21st and 22nd, followed by Melvin Crows and Adam Sharp. Farclough Epistle and Kamil Makowski are on row 13. Steve Corona and Joel Leher are on row 14, and at the back is Chris Gedman. Wait the drivers to be on the grid. 911 who's heading for the pit lane now. That'll be Fernando Ferrari. He'll want to do like a practice pit entry. Done so now. Won't be too long before we see these cars on the grid. There will be a 3-minute pause and be on their formation that they'll be going around for the best part of 4 minutes, I would say. For watching us in the UK, should be completed by around about 10 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. 10 PM Greenwich Mean Time, I should say. You have joined us in the live chat. welcome you, particularly Thomas Fontracek, who's just joined in. Hello to you, sir. And yes, you are right. The top 15 are separated by under a second, which, to be fair, last week in Watkins Glen, when Craig Law was alongside me, the field, looking at the qualifying of last week, top 20 was separated by less than a second in Watkins Glen. Today it's the top 15. But it's still shaping up to be a brilliant race. 60 minutes plus one lap. Well, not 60 minutes plus one lap. It's a 60-minute race. Whatever the lap the leader is on when the clock expires, that will be their final lap. Hodges has just come in saying, have a great race. Guys, couldn't make it today, but we'll tune in. It's a shame you couldn't make it, but I'm sure you'll be back in the near future to race with us all. See, many of you are joining in the stream as well as racing, or if you're not racing and just tuning in for fun, I'm here to enjoy the FRL action. We do welcome you. Like I say, do get involved in the conversation and do ask me some questions if you ever so wish to do so. Will Freeman coming in saying this is going to be a hard fight ahead. I couldn't agree more. You are on the front row to your championship rival. This is the kind of battle we've been anticipating all along this season between two of the finest drivers in Taco Tuesday, Nico Busov and Will Freeman. Sterling will be fancying his chances as well. Jeffrey Godefroy, who is aiming for a good result here. He's not had the best of seasons so far. He's been involved in a few incidents so far this campaign, hence why he's not as high up in the championship as he should be. He finished 10th last week in Watkins Glen, but he has had some troubles in Mount Panorama, Suzuka and Snetterton. So he'll be aiming for possibly a podium finish here, certainly a top 5 at least anyway. In terms of the air temperature, it's 16 degrees, track temperature 22 degrees. Weather is expected to be sunshine all the way through. Hodges was saying, this is the kind of race I prefer to start from the back. Pink versus the yellow, says Will Freeman. Well, there you go. That's probably the way to put it. Both of which in Lamborghinis. Nico Busov in the 95 Lamborghini. Will Freeman in the number 8 pink Lamborghini. It does say 63 on the graphic, but Freeman has... It is showing number 8 on the track map, so... he made me aware of that, so I just want to say thank you again to Will for mentioning that to me. You're less than a minute away from the formation lap. After Oulton Park, we race in Zandvoort for the penultimate round. 9th and final race of the season will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Indiana, USA. Last time we raced in Britain in Taco Tuesday in the category that you are watching was a multi-car pileup. So hopefully everyone will get through the first corner rather unscathed. They did very well to get through the opening part of Watkins Glen unscathed. I was feared it would be wet conditions for Watkins Glen, but thankfully it was dry and they made the most of the conditions to out of everyone's way and keeping out of trouble all the way through. The formation lap is underway now as Busov leaves the grid anytime now, and he does so. Take the opportunity to warm up their tyres, and it'll be a rolling start as always on this game. Nico Busov on pole position with Will Freeman alongside Ed Sterling and Jeffrey Godefroy are on row 2. And it's Matthias Giggle and Mauro Begantin on the 3rd row, followed by Matteo Di Stefano and Luke Prentice, Peter Van Lyshow and Sean Cool rounding out the top 10. We've got Fernando Ferreira and Dennis Novak on row 6, ahead of Ben Milden and Connor Byers. Mauro Arsenio and Arkadiusz Michalka are on row 8, with Morgan Grace and Michael Kleiber next behind. And Mrs. Dybel and Jack Prentice leads in the top 20 with Chris Faster and Stuart Hutchison on the 11th row, with Melvin Crows and Adam Sharp next. Farclub Bizzle and Cameron McCoskey are 25th and 26th. Steve Cowarner and John Leahy are on row 14, and at the back on his own is Chris Gedman. It doesn't appear that anyone is going to be starting from the pit lane this time around. We had Dennis Novak opting to start from the pit lane last week in Watkins Glen. Felt it was a good choice to do that, and he actually finished inside. Well, he actually finished 13th in the end. It did Novak, but he did very well. We had a lot of drivers involved last week, including Liam O'Neill. I don't think he actually started that race, actually, thinking of it. Sean Cole did, though, but he didn't last very long in the race. Neither did Cameron McCoskey. Hislops now. It's that barrier which Will Freeman has opted to bash out of the way, so it doesn't cause a problem for everyone. I just saw it go behind the Armco, actually, so we won't be seeing that between now and the end of the night. We are coming round now, ready for the start of the 7th race of the Pro category in Taco Tuesday, Season 11. Close to bringing down the curtain for its 2023 action. Of course, it will return soon enough in 2024. Definitely in time in January. The grids will be sorted in terms of which categories each driver will be in. I think it will be the same as what it is currently this season. Maybe we can get a few more drivers joining. Over 900 subscribers. If you are not one of them, make sure you press that all important subscribe button. Keep right up to date with all the action that is happening within the FRL, whether it's Super Sprint, BTCC or Taco Tuesday, and all the other events that are shown in the YouTube description. Well, the field are in their rows of 2, which means it's time to go racing here. Busov versus Freeman. Who is going to come out on top as we await for the green flag from the marshal? And it is go in Oulton Park. Busov leads the field through turn 1, but watch over Ed Sterling's on the inside of Will Freeman, but Freeman is able to fend off the Mercedes AMG for now. We've got an off there. Looks like Dennis Novak has gone round in the Honda and he's made contact. We got another off as well. Couldn't quite tell who that was, but Dennis Novak is pointing the wrong way in the Honda. I think the 320 or the 120 has gone off the circuit. Well, it's not the 320 because that is... Oh, it might have been Joel Leahy who's gone off the track. We're just going to him now, and I think he's got damage. And next to him is Matthias Dybel. I think he was the one that darted off the circuit after Dennis Novak. So I think there'll be some pit lane activity at the end of lap 1. Busov leads then with Freeman in second place. We've got Sterling, Godefroy. The top 4 are in the same positions as they were before the race started. Giggle is as well. Beganson, Luke Prentice, Mercedes Stefano, Peter Van Lyshout, and Fernando Ferreira in the top 10. Not a lot has changed in terms of the top 10. There's a long way to go yet. And we've got a car in the pits, and it's the number 38, it's Dennis Novak, and it looks like his race could well be effectively finished. Well, if there was a race where he may have felt it should have been started from the pit lane, this was the race probably to do it for him. He did it last week and it was fine. There was no incidents. Today there was an incident and it involved him. So Novak's race is finished, he is out, and he goes no further. Busov leads with Freeman in second place as they complete lap 1, and it's Ed Sterling and Jeffrey Godefroy in 3rd and 4th. Matthias Giggle in 5th, had Amaro Beganson with Luke Prentice next behind. We've got a lot of the home heroes competing today, including Ed Sterling. Luke Prentice is as well. We've also got Connor Byers, Ben Milden, Sean Cull and Morgan Grace, I believe. Jack Prentice as well, Stuart Hutchison. There's a lot of British drivers in the field. They're going through Shell oil corners for the second time. Busov and Freeman still at the head of the pack. I think this battle is going to go right to the very end of this race. Uncertain how much fuel both Freeman and Busov have got on board. try and do something different to the other. We've got cars in the pits at the end of lap 1. Dybel is in. And the number 444 is also in. I think that's Sean Cole. It is. So he's had an incident somewhere with Sean Cole. We didn't see it, but he is in the pits. And that could well be his race finished already. So Sean Cole, 3rd place in the championship coming into this round. Doesn't look like he's going to be scoring points. We've also got an off on the exit of Knickerbrook. And it's the 147 Jeffrey Godefroy. Would you believe it? So the man in 4th place, before that spin, has had an off. And it's another wretched start to the event for the Belgian. Godefroy in trouble then. Another driver in trouble. And that promotes Giggle up a position. As we see Busov and Freeman still glued together. Less than a second between the two. As we are on lap 3. Through the hairpin once more. Busov and Freeman. Both on fire this season. The Lamborghini seems to be the car you want to be competing in. It may be better on some racetracks compared to others. Seem to be enjoying it so far. So yeah, Sean Cole's race is over. He's not going any further in this race, neither is Dennis Novak. Dybel has rejoined the race, albeit a lap down. And from what I can see on the stream, we're not showing the pit stops, the mandatory pit stops, which is a bit of a surprise. Maybe a glitch with the graphic. I'm not seeing what really should be. It should be in orange with the number 1 on there, like usual, but unfortunately not on this occasion, unless things are different for this round. But it shouldn't be. Lap 4 then, Busov continuing to lead ahead of Will Freeman. Towards Cascades now. No problem. I want to see what's going on further down the order because we've got Bergansen in 6th place ahead of Di Stefano. We've got that almost looked like a collision there between Maholka and Arsenio for P12. Coming out of Cascades again. Arsenio running wide, pushing very, very hard indeed to get back through on the Lamborghini ahead. Arsenio. Oh, and that's Arkinis Maholka going for a spin and thankfully stays out of everyone's way on the approach to the hairpin. He'll drop down the order and falls behind what looks like, I'm trying to see who that is. He's just fallen behind there. That is Chris Faster, so I think he's down to 22nd place is Curtis Maholka compared to where he was a moment ago. Busov leads with Freeman in 2nd place and holds the fast start. In fact, Freeman's dropped back a little bit from Busov. I don't know if he's gone into tyre management mode. He's probably made a mistake somewhere and has lost ground to his rival. And there is Di Stefano behind Bergansen in the battle for P6. And also behind them is Peter van Lyshout, who's going very well once again. As we see Bergansen almost making a mistake. And now Di Stefano to close in a little. Out of the first turn there. It's Grace, there is Prentice, Sharp and Crows next. Then we've got Makovsky and Hutchison with Vissel and Faster next. Gap between the top two is 1.6 seconds. It's come down a little bit since we last saw them go through the sector there. Freeman gaining ground all the time. Best he can to stay in touch with Busov ahead. Won't want to be pitted in too soon. Think about his track position. Giggle is behind Sterling in the battle for 3rd place, with Luke Prentice in 5th. Go on board with Giggle, who's having one of his best races of the season so far. Coming into this round as far as his points total is concerned. Only 60 points, and he's missed 3 races so far this campaign. He's had an 8th place finish in Snetterton a couple of rounds ago. For a podium finish here, and Sterling, the man standing in his way. 8 minutes into this race, we've done 5 laps. So far so good for Nico Busov, who's aiming for his 4th win in the last 5 races. He's finished in the top 2 in 5 out of the 6 races so far. Sinkigel still behind Ed Sterling. He wants to make his way through as they go through. Left-hander before Shell Oils. Oh, this contact made, and Ed Sterling's off the track. Well, it looks like he was off the track. Giggle didn't go in front because he knew that if he got in front, it would be penalised after, and that's allowed Luke Prentice to close in. The gap between those lot is increasing now that there was contact made between Giggle and Sterling. Not much is changing further down the order. Arsenio's in 12th place behind Ben Milden now. And Grace is in 14th, but he's got Jack Prentice all over the back of him as they approach hit slops. Right on board with Jack as he comes through the right-hander of Nickelbrook, but he's got out of shape through the right-hander. And up the hill, underneath the bridge, almost running wide there. You've got to make sure you stay on the racing line as you approach there, because it's just going up the hill and you don't have as much control of the car as you go up the hill like that. Approaching Lodge now. Up the hill through Dearly. No lap completed by the drivers. Looks like Melvin Crow's trying to make a move on Adam Sharp. This is for 16th. Is he going to find a way through as they through Cascades? Oh, and that's a car off the racetrack. That's Helmut Makowski, who's got off quite a way. He'll get back onto the circuit, no problem, but he'll lose the position to Chris Faster, I think. Faster on the inside there. Makowski leaves in space. They almost make contact, but don't. Still side by side they go there. Vivizel will go on the inside of Faster, and he's able to pass him to go up into 19th position. He's got to fly behind this lot. He's trying to make up time. You can see the damage to his bonnet there after the off he had had. Now he's making up. He's trying to make up for lost time. Right in the curves there. There they go. Van Nyshout was in 8th place behind Vigantin, and we can see a battle there brewing between Arsenio and Milden. Arsenio on the inside. Milden didn't really fight it on this occasion, and he's allowed Arsenio to go through, and I think the reason why Milden will have done that is because the more they fight, the more ground they will lose to the cars ahead. Skiggle and Prentice behind Ed Sterling. The battle for third position still rages on. On lap 8, Usov's lead over Freeman is now 2.3 seconds. Out of the corner there, and they are going up the hill. The gap is back down to 2.2 seconds between Busov and Freeman. And beginning to fight back a little bit, but the two will be thinking about pit stops. I think we've seen a car go down the order. I think Byers is now behind Arsenio. Arsenio's made up another position on this lap, and he's through into 10th position. Arsenio, who won the opening race of the season in Mount Panorama, wasn't able to keep hold of that form throughout the season. He had a connection issue in Laguna Seca, which cost him effectively the race win. Make up for that here. Get through some cars. I think going for the victory is a long shot, but a podium position is very much possible. Their way through. There is Giggle, there is Prentice, all over the back of Sterling. Got a car in the pits. Who's that in there? I think that's Godefroy who's come in. And I think this is a pit stop he's doing now, so Godefroy will be on his way. He's now falling back a little bit on boost off, as we see Giggle in 4th place behind Sterling, going up the hill. Stefano is ahead of Begansin for 6th position. For your information, where's Begansin gone? There he is. He's behind Stefano. He's got Van Nyshout for company. And Ferrara is looking to make a move of his own as well. We're right on board with Ferrara as he goes for the move on Van Nyshout through Lodge Corner, round the outside. Van Nyshout has the inside line, able to hold firm and hold the position. And Ferrara will have to wait for another opportunity. And all that dicing has allowed Arsenio to close in as well. Arsenio's had a good last few laps or so. He's looking to make more places as we speak. There's Arsenio on the inside as they go through Cascades. Does Ferrara know that he's there? He does know that he's there. Conor Byers has come into the pits. And it looks like he is in the box. Godefroy's rejoined the race, I believe, albeit a long way behind. Come away from this lot, but we'll go back to the battle for P3. And whilst these three are dicing it out, Stefano is closing on them. So the man who finished on the podium last week in Watkins Glen, Matteo Di Stefano, right on the tail of the trio. It will soon become a 4-car fight. Wide is Sterling, still staying ahead of Giggle and Prentice. So they come down towards Lodge. Godefroy is down a lap, but at least he's done his mandatory stop. That temperature is 21 degrees. Right on board with Giggle as they come out of turn 1. See Sterling run wide there on the exit Cascades. Fernando Ferrara is in the pits for your information, and we've got an off involving Godefroy, who's only just pitted. I think no, it's not Godefroy, sorry, it's the 174. It's Kamil Makowski who's had a shunt, and I think he's collided with Farclough for Vissel. So both of them have been in the wars. For Vissel, struggling to get the car through Lodge Corner. And yeah, the car just doesn't want to turn, does it? And Makowski is off the track. He'll want to get that car into the pit lane as soon as he can, but he's really struggling to get the car back onto the racetrack. Vissel, is he able to get back to the pit lane? I think we've lost another car as well from this race. Not sure which one it is yet. As we see Makowski come in for repairs, as will Makowski. That'll promote Godefroy up the order. I can tell you the gap between Busov and Freeman has come down to 1.6 seconds. Got Sterling, Giggle and Prentice fighting for position. I think Di Stefano's dropped back a little bit. Maybe to manage his tyres perhaps before he does choose to come in. on lap 12. Expecting it to be maybe around about a 39 lap race. How quick the pit stops will be for the drivers. They are coming through the left-hander of Island Bend. The apprentice really looking Giggle's mirrors. Lost Dennis Novak that we know. We lost Sean Cull. Barglov Bissell and Cameron McCoskey are still in the pits at the moment. Chris Gedman has been in the pits for some time, I believe, as well, but I believe he may well be back on the circuit now. Anyway, he is back on the circuit, is Chris. Top three, and the gap between Busov and Freeman is down to 1.2 seconds at the end of lap 12. See Fernando Ferreira, who's just about to be lapped by the leaders. Busov and Freeman really closing in now, trying to find all the time he can to really close in on his championship rival. He needs to get past him here to keep his realistic hopes of the championship alive. Cannot afford to lose second place. Busov gets past Ferreira. Freeman will do the same as well. That Prentice running in 4th and 5th, still behind Sterling. I think Prentice has dropped back a little bit from those two. Now we see Clyde holding up Prentice, Grace, Crows and Sharp. Kowski's still in the pits right now. Pavizel is back on circuit, but he's trying to get the car through the corners. As far as we know, Chris Gedman's a long way behind, as is Matthias Dybel. Godefroy, who's down a lap on the leaders, but he's done his mandatory stop. Back on the lead lap. Yeah, Future. And 1.7 seconds behind Busov now. Busov was able to respond. See Prentice pushing very, very hard. Close in all the time. Oh, and there's an off there. I think that's Fernando Ferreira who's gone for a detour. Don't know how he's managed to do that. Probably got offline on his way into Island Bend. And we've got a stop-go penalty now for Cameron McCoskey for speeding in the pit lane. And Ferreira has gone off. He caught the barrier and now he's gone back into the pit lane. And effectively, that's his race finished. Cameron McCoskey, I believe, will probably head for the pits and end his race there, because he has had another race to forget this evening. Not had the best of seasons so far, has Mikovsky. So far in the championship standings. Just trying to find his name on the standings. It's definitely not towards the top. He's done every race so far this season. He failed to finish last week in Watkins Glen. But his best finish has been 18th. And that was the opening round in Mount Panorama. .6 seconds between Busov and Freeman. Sterling and Giggle still going at it. Right on board with Giggle as he comes towards Island Bend. to the outside is Giggle. Grace and Crows are in the pits together. Francis coming, well, let's say Sterling and Giggle going through Britain's. Just didn't quite take the best line through that. Adam Sharp coming in for his mandatory stop too. Kosky back in the pits. Will he serve that stop and go penalty and carry on? Decides to call it a day. Steve Caruana, who's had another off day today. At least he's still going. Now on lap 16, Busov holds the fastest up of the race. He's 2.5 seconds clear over Freeman. As it stands with the championship standings as they are, Busov will go 18 points clear of Freeman. The battle for third place, the positions as they are, Arsenio would go in front of Cole, but some drivers have done their mandatory stops, others haven't yet. Mahalka is running in 13th position after that spin early on in the race. He's still going. Haven't seen any of the top 10 come in yet for their stops. Busov is coming up behind Steve Caruana. And Caruana will not want to get in the way of the leaders here. He is being blue flagged. Busov is patiently waiting to get through. And Caruana stays out of the way and lets Busov go. 5 minutes in. Sign of pit stops yet from the leaders. Looks like it's going to be between the top two. Well, those two of Busov and Freeman finishing in the top two. Question is in which order. Battle for third place is up for grabs. 911 in the pits. That will be Fernando Ferreira still. He hasn't rejoined the racetrack unfortunately, but we're seeing Giggle going for a move now on Sterling as they come towards Island Bend. Will they get through Island Bend safely? And I think they do, but Sterling's off the track. And Sterling off the circuit, and he's going to go into the barrier. I think he goes into the gravel, avoids the barrier. But that is a costly error there for Ed Sterling. Got offline. I don't know whether there was actually contact between Sterling and Giggle, but Sterling has lost a bundle of time. He gets back on the circuit now. He's behind Arsenio. He's behind Van Lyshout. So he's down to 9th place is Ed Sterling. He will be furious with that. Ben Milden coming into the pits for his only stop. Now, will there be an inquiry in the steward's room afterwards? Is Prentice in 4th position now. As we see someone go wide there on the exit. I think that was Beganson who's trying to fend off Mauro Arsenio. So about to go into battle. Arsenio looming in behind. Beganson making the mistake. That could be all what Arsenio needs. He looks to the inside on the pit straight. Beganson knows that he's there. He just about leaves enough room as they go through turn 1 together. Arsenio rides in the curve on the exit of Cascades, and Van Lyshout line still hanging in there in 8th position on track. Is Prentice behind Giggle in the battle for 3rd place. see Will Freeman heading for the pits at the end of lap 18. Now, this needs to be the best stop of his season so far. Watching, how long will he be in the box for? We are having a look now. Stopped it at 34 seconds there, so hopefully by the 31-minute mark, he'll be out on his way. Hopefully even sooner than that. We had a yellow flag for a moment. That has gone away. I think Cameron Mikowski's back in the pits, for your information, so his race is effectively over. I think Fernando Ferreira is back on the circuit too. Freeman waits in his box. He's been in there for 30 seconds now. He should be out on his way right round about now. That was 33 seconds for the Frenchman. A rejoin in some clean air. That was the stop he needed. Now he needs to make the most of the tyres he's got. Let's go after Busov. Holker and Hutchison come into the pits together. Now, what about Busov? What is he going to do at the end of this lap? He got held up behind some back markers. I think if he's going to cover off Freeman, he needs to come in at the end of this lap. His tyres are going to start falling away by the second. And he is coming in. So Busov is coming in at the halfway point in this race, at the end of lap 19. He's going to stop there behind Chris Faster's car. Eagle also coming in, which allows Luke Prentice to take over the lead of the race for now. I if they'll try something different. Mauro Arsenio also coming in. Now I want to find Will Freeman. He's behind Kleiboer on circuit. Now, is Busov doing enough? Keep hold of the race lead here. Should be leaving the box around about now, I believe. He is leaving the box. This is going to be very, very close between Busov and Freeman, but I think Busov has this one covered. Freeman is at full speed, but Busov is getting out of the pit lane now. And he retains the lead over his rival. So it's as you were. Freeman's tyres will be in the operating window though, so it may take a lap or so for Busov's tyres to get up to temperature. Looks like Busov has this one covered now, unless something happens to him. A nice shout coming into the pits. Obviously is out of the race. Fernando Ferreira is still going. So we've lost 4 drivers from this race. We've lost Mikowski, we've lost Sean Cole, we've lost Dennis Novak, and we've lost one other driver from this race that we don't know. I think it's Farclough for Bissell. No, for Bissell's still going, I should say. That's Ferreira getting through there. And in fact, I think Melvin Crow's letting through rather easily there, because he thought he was being lapped by Ferreira, but that's not the case. Strange going on there between those two. Luke Prentice comes in from the lead then, which allows Matteo Di Stefano to take over at the head of the field. Gansin, I believe, has lost the position to Ed Sterling now. I think Gansin might have made a mistake thinking of it. So Ed Sterling at least going to second position. Jack Prentice, but Gansin's also behind Jack Prentice, and Busov is all over the back of Begansin, who's really, really struggling. I don't know if his tyres are beginning to fall away. Busov is behind him. Now, these are battling for position at the end of the day, so Begansin does not have to just move out of the way. All of this is helping Will Freeman to close in, but Busov should be able to dispose of Begansin. To lift off the throttle, which will lose him a little bit of time. When is Busov going to get through? Is he going to get through at Britain's? Very optimistic to do it there. Well, right on board with Busov. He's lost momentum now, and that will allow Freeman to close in more. Di Stefano in the race lead as we speak. He's just done his 20th lap. Just about to complete his 21st, I should say. Busov's still behind Begansin, and Will Freeman is closing in. Got a drive-through penalty for Mauro Begansin for track limits. That has wrecked his race, and he'll have to serve that within the next 3 laps. Now, he needs to be careful with the field coming through behind him. So Busov is through, but look how close Will Freeman is now to him. Race for the win is very much back on. Busov versus Freeman, take your pick. Jack Prentice also coming in, who's in 3rd place before he came in. Begansin's done his drive-through penalty now. He still has his mandatory stop to do. Stefano still out in the lead. Now, I wonder if he's aiming for a late pit stop here, is Di Stefano. It's not going as quickly as he would do if it was earlier on in the race, so I wonder if his tyres are really beginning to fall away. But I want to go back to this battle, because this is the battle we need to be focusing on. Still behind Begansin now. Busov, there is Freeman. 5 minutes remaining here at Oulton Park. Round 7 of the Taco Tuesday series in the Pro category. Championship favourite. Very much looked to be Nico Busov, but one mistake from him and the whole complexion of the championship can change. 4th has been Busov's worst result this season. Over the line. Ahead by 6/10, but you don't really need the gap to really know how far they are from each other. See in your picture. Jeffrey Godefroy is in 17th position behind behind Adam Sharp as it comes towards Hislops. I was just hoping to get through as many cars as possible here. Very hard to get back into the top 10 from this. The gap between Di Stefano and Busov is right now about 23 seconds. As I know. Freeman behind Busov as they come through Knickerbrook once more. And it's behind Busov in the battle for 3rd place. On track that is, but it'll be the race lead once Di Stefano and Sterling come in for their pit stops. Been side by side yet in this race of Busov and Freeman. Could we about to see that change? Busov doing phenomenally well to hold him back. He's in all the track and then some. Still holding firm ahead. Now Britons, and Busov is able to stay in front for the time being. Too long before you catch up to maybe a little bit of traffic, but only a little, that is. This battle's going to go right to the very end, I can guarantee it. Go back to the battle between Giggle and Prentice because they are tussling for 5th place on track. He's ahead of Begansin, but Begansin's still yet to make his mandatory stop. And it looks like Jeffrey Godefroy is behind Sharp in the battle for position. About to go side by side now. And Stuart Hutchinson's waiting to pounce. Also nearly drops it. In fact, he does drop it. He's into the barrier. It's Stuart Hutchinson. On the approach to Shell Oil's hairpin, and the bonnet is damaged. And I think that'll be him off into the pits at the end of this lap now. Got out of shape, got too distracted by the battle ahead. And we've got Ed Sterling coming into the pits from second place on track. It's Busov and Freeman fighting over P2, coming out of the hairpin. We're getting reports coming in from Sean Corsa saying he's not going to be able to finish the league because his garage is too cold at this time of year. He can't feel his feet. I hope he's joking on that front. I'd like to think he is. I'm sure he can manage the last two races, can Sean. It's Busov and Freeman fighting over P2. Druids hiding the curbs. Di Stefano is still out there with 20 minutes remaining. How long it will actually be before he decides to pit in. He's not going to be challenging Busov and Freeman. And Sterling is in 4th place right now. Surely he's not done his pit stop properly. Find out later on. As we see Stefano putting a lap on Hutchinson, who's struggling with that wounded BMW. 18th position is the Brit. There is Busov and Freeman going at it. They help him. Was the left-hander and the right and the left of Britons. Back straight. Freeman's still not close enough to have a go. It's not the easiest of circuits to overtake. What I can say though is that Freeman has posted a new fastest lap. And once they take back first and second places, to remain as it is, Busov will increase his lead by 1 point over Freeman. With 2 races left, and the gap would go up to 16 points. It's been a brilliant championship fight so far between Busov and Freeman. Further back we've got Giggle and Prentice still tossing over 5th place. Senyo is in front of Van Nyshout, who's some way behind. Ben Milden isn't too far back from all this. Gedman staying out of the way. Stefano carrying on ahead of Busov and Freeman. We got a yellow flag there, and I think Stuart Hutchinson has had a moment off track and has gone into the pit lane. I wonder if that could be his race finished, considering the amount of time he'll end up losing. Stefano is 16 seconds in front of Busov. He'll do enough to get onto the podium here as it stands. Hasn't left his box yet. Stefano is carrying on his way, and Freeman is still behind Busov, and they are nose to tail once more. Freeman really smelling his chance now. Stalking the sister Lamborghini. Tremendous effort by these two. And Freeman making their way through Island Bends. Freeman taking a tremendous amount of speed through that. Taking a slightly different line to what Busov is taking. Staying on the circuit. Won't be too long before we see Matteo Di Stefano come into the pits. As it stands, he's currently 38 seconds in front of Ed Sterling. I think that'll be a good enough gap to maintain what will effectively be the final podium position. So holding up Freeman in the fight for second. Getting out of shape there, losing a little bit of ground though. Be back for more though, that's for certain. Go back to the battle for fourth as Sterling, Giggle and Prentice go into battle. Giggle. The inside, then the outside. Just no way through for him yet. Oh, we see Prentice going for it there almost, and the two nearly making contact on the exit of Lodge. Both live to fight another day. Go back between Busov and Freeman. I think Freeman's dropped back a bit now. Where Godefroy is, he's still in 17th place. He's gone off the circuit. It looks like he's had a moment with someone as well. Something. There's Begantin. Slowly but surely making his way into the pits. It doesn't look like he's going at a very quick pace either. Here's the Italian. Hudson hasn't rejoined the circuit either. Well, I've seen the last from him in this round. In fact, going back onto the circuit is Hutchinson, which is good to see. Stefano still not made his mandatory pit stop yet. Sterling, Giggle and Prentice. Prentice nearly dropping it. His car points in the right way. Sterling going through, as is Giggle, as is Prentice. Go, Giggle waiting for his opportunity. Side they go. No way through yet. Giggle. Power down a little bit earlier. Almost pulling alongside. Gap between Busov and Freeman has come down. In fact, Busov's run wide and Freeman has gone off the circuit. I didn't quite catch the first part of that battle there between the two. They must have went side by side going into Druids. And I think contact might have been made between the pair of them. And Freeman allowed Busov back through. Now I really want to see what happened there because they must have gone side by side into Druids and have touched. Jansen's rejoining the circuit now. Won't be troubling these two. The win very much on. It's may help Stefano a little bit. Still behind at the moment. Will he go for the move again this time around? Well, he's not close enough to have a go, so may do it into a different part of the racetrack. Stefano is coming around to complete his 31st lap. .147 of Godefroy has got out of the way of the leader. There are Busov and Freeman coming through. Over 10 minutes remaining. Got around about 8 laps to go, so we're probably looking at around about a 39 lap race here. Battle for 4th between Sterling, Giggle and Prentice is raging on still. There is Giggle, who's looking to go for it here. Is he alongside enough to go through? The answer is no on this occasion, although Sterling goes in a little too deep. Still can't find a way through as they go through cascades. That heading through Shell Oil's corner. Way through at the moment, although Sterling's run wide, that may give Giggle the opportunity to at least pull alongside and go through here. Here they go then as they approach Hislops. Will they get through safely? We'll want to go to the battle between Busov and Freeman once more. Freeman's still behind the Croatian as they come out of Lodge Corner. And looking from the helicopter angle. Cross over the line once more to begin lap 33. Di Stefano still hasn't pitted in this race. He has to take his mandatory stop before the 1 minute window. So we're going to be fighting it out to the end. Freeman looking to go for it. Looking for a move at Shell Oil's corner. Still no way through. And I can say that Sterling has dropped behind Giggle and Prentice. I don't know if contact has been made, but he's lost a bundle of time to those two. And now Arsenio is fancying his chances. Go back to Freeman and Busov, who is still there. Don't know when Stefano is going to be coming in for his stop. Gap he's got over Giggle in 4th is 37 seconds. Through the last corner once again. 33 laps have been done. We see Giggle and Prentice once more. Sterling's dropped back from all this, and he's got Arsenio right behind too. As he looks for a way through. Almost made as they come out of leap. Arsenio on the outside of Sterling. Will they leave each other room? Contact almost made. Sterling stays ahead. But Arsenio's going to pull alongside, and this could be 6 place going in the way of the Portuguese driver. Sterling able to hold on. But Arsenio is looking for a way through as they approach Island Bend. Arsenio on the inside. Sterling almost running wide, but managing to keep his car on the circuit as they go through Shell Oil's corner. So still in front of Freeman. Out of time to make his move. Arsenio's running out of time to make his move on Sterling as well. He stops once more. Up they come. Five drivers still going at the phone at the present moment. Gap between Busov and Freeman's back down to 6/10. Stefano still hasn't made his pit stop, as he is required to do. Goes the plan, 3rd place will be his. Arsenio trying to go through on Sterling as they go side by side into Cascades. And Sterling's able to break a little bit later. Contact as they come out of the corner. Right on board with Arsenio as Chris Gedman stays out of the way of these two. Still no way through for Mauro Arsenio. This is really frustrating for him. He's hoping to be fighting towards the front. And Freeman still behind Busov, but he's closer this time than he was about a lap ago. He's not had the best of X. He ran too deep into Lodge. And Di Stefano is finally into the pit lane. Should be out within 5 seconds, I would have thought. And he's out within 7 seconds, I would say. So 3rd place should be his, because Giggle is too far behind. So it looks like another 3rd place finish is going in the way of Matteo Di Stefano. He's a long way clear of Matthias Giggle. And another drive-through penalty for Mauro Begantin for track limits. That's his 2nd one of the race. Just wants to get to the checker flag now. 0.3 seconds between Busov and Freeman. They're now in 1 and 2. Arsenio is looking for a way past on Sterling. I think Sterling did actually make his mandatory stop. Arsenio trying to take a different line to what Sterling's doing to try and give him all the speed he needs down the straight before Island Bend. Nearly dropping it though. Sterling running wide though. Sterling all over the back. Sterling managing to hold him off this time around. They're coming out. The Britons. Drive-through still yet to be taken by Mauro Begantin. Freeman's gap behind Busov is 1.1 seconds. It looks like Busov has this under control, but they've got back markers to get through. I think the next time they come round to the pit straight, they will begin their final lap. So it'll be a 38 lap race. Is Geoffrey Godefroy, who's running in 16th position. Another race to forget for him. So Freeman's going to close in a little bit, I should think. 1.1 seconds in the first sector. It's now down to 7/10. Brilliant drive from these two today, once again. Continuing their consistency. Oh, boost off running wide through Druids, and Freeman's going to get back through, I should think. There is a slow-moving car who's in a really dangerous spot there, and nearly taking out the leaders. Now, is that going to give Freeman the opportunity to pull alongside and get through here? Now, the 237 who was almost in the way there was Adam Schott. It's the last lap for the race leaders. This is it. Freeman's last opportunity. There's Jeffrey Godefroy ahead of them, who should not get in the way. And Freeman thinking about going for it. And Godefroy staying out of the way, not intervening with the action. Freeman giving it all he's got between now and the checker flag. It's been a phenomenal effort from Nico Busov and Will Freeman. It looks like Busov is going to have this under control between now and the checker flag, unless he makes the worst of mistakes. I think in terms of back markers, they should be okay. I think they're well and truly clear. Although they're having a battle ahead of them, so this could well be not the end of it. And it's Stuart Hutchison, who I think was just getting out of the way. Is it Chris Gedman who was fighting with? No, it's not. Chris Gedman's behind him in terms of position. He may well be ahead of him in position, actually. But we'll stay with the leaders because they are about to complete the last lap of this race now. Nico Busov and Will Freeman have put on a brilliant battle all the way through. But it's Nico Busov who's going to return to winning ways. He's not going to get held up by the back markers because you can see the checker flag is waiting for him now. Nico Busov, for the fourth time in 5 races, wins in Taco Tuesday in the FRL, ahead of Will Freeman, and edges closer to the title. He now has a 16-point lead over his rival. Will Freeman 4/10 behind in second place. Well, we'll go to Matteo Di Stefano, who played the alternate strategy. It has paid dividends. It's a second podium in a row for him. Matteo Giggle will hold on ahead of Luke Prentice for 4th place. A brilliant effort by Giggle. Arsenio getting through on Sterling at last. He'll come through in 6th. Sterling, another decent effort from him today in 7th. With Peter Van Lyshow again scoring points by finishing in the top 10. Ben Milden will settle for 9th. Morgan Crace, Michael Kleiboer, Melvin Crows, Jack Prentice and Akeas Mikulka will be the last drivers on the lead lap. But there is your race winner. It is Nico Busov in the 95 Lamborghini in Oulton Park in Taco Tuesday in the Formula Racing League. Can anyone stop him for the title now? As they go through the polystyrene boards in sympathy, they know they've put on a really decent battle today between all the way through for an hour. Most certainly strangle Lamborghini's hold on the manufacturer's trophy at the end of the season. It's time to run down on the results then at the end of a brilliant race at Oulton Park. Nico Busov wins with Will Freeman in 2nd place, Matteo Di Stefano and Matthias Giggle in 3rd and 4th. Luke Prentice in 5th, had a Morrow, Arsenio, Peter Van Lyshow is shown that he's in 7th place, so that's not the case. So in actual fact, we'll wait until we get the final classification showing up on the board. I think Nico Busov is supposed to be going into the pit lane, but instead he's deciding to perform a few donuts, because why not? The end of the race for the drivers. Adam Sharp didn't make it to the checker flag, so I wonder if he'll actually keep hold of the position of which he actually finished in. He did crawl in with damage. Did the Brit. Just waiting for the classification to come up on the board now. It really should be up by now because everyone will have crossed over the line. I hope you all enjoyed that. here we go. Look, Busov wins ahead of Freeman with Stefano in third place for the second race in a row. We've got Matthias Giggle and Luke Prentice in fourth and fifth. Mauro Senio, Ed Sterling, Peter Van Lyshow, Ben Milden and Morgan Grace running out the top 10. We've got Michael Kleiber and Melvin Crows in 11th and 12th. Jack Prentice and Arcadius Mihulka in 13th and 14th. We've got Jeffrey Godefroy finishing low down there again in 15th place. Chris Foster 16th and Matthias Dybel and Joel Leher. Adam Sharp is shown in 19th, but I'm not sure he'll keep the points because he didn't take the checker flag. Murray began to made it into the end despite taking 2 drive-throughs. Farcliffe Epistle, Steve Caruana, Chris Gedman, Stuart Hutchison and Fernando Ferreira were the rest of those that did finish the race. The drivers that retired though were Cameron McCoskey, Connor Byers, Sean Cole and Dennis Novak, who we lost in the early stages. In the championship then, Busov increases his lead by a point because Freeman got the point for the fastest lap. The gap is 16 points between the two with 2 races to go. The next round being in Zandvoort in a week's time. Could Busov wrap up the title there? Who knows? If you have enjoyed that, do make sure you like and subscribe in case you haven't already done so. And feel free to check out all the information in the description of all the championships that the Formula Racing League has to offer. And if you do subscribe, you can keep right up to date with all the action that is happening within the league. It's time to end it there. Thank you very much for watching us, and we'll do it again next week in Zandvoort. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.